Hi, I'm Joanna from Mat Pilates. We're going to start with some breathing. So we're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. Nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to squeeze your core, lifting your pelvic floor and squeezing your tummy muscles together. We're going to go in for some pelvic rotation. So just tilting the pelvis forwards and back, just watching that you're not moving any other parts really. Lowering your tailbone to the floor and then feeling like a piece of strings, lifting it up to the ceiling. And just ease that off, just find that natural stopping point in the middle. Rolling the shoulders round and back, finding that nice neutral positioning. We're going to go in for some half roll downs now, so relaxing through the spine, mobilizing and just getting each part of your back to work independently and sequentially. We're not going too low with these because we want to watch that our head doesn't go too low below the heart. So just nice mobilization exercises before we come down into the floor. We're going to come down into a 4-point kneeling position. So hands underneath shoulders and knees underneath hips. Equal weight distribution through. Now we're not going to move very much for the first exercises. We're just going to squeeze the core. Nice deep breath in through the nose, and as you breathe out, you're going to lift your pelvic floor all the way up and you're going to squeeze those tummy muscles. Imagine that you're pulling your tummy button in towards your spine. You're squeezing a belt or pulling that belt tighter with each outward breath. Breathing in, releasing it off completely. When you're ready, you're going to start to just add some little pelvic tilts. So not too much movement again, we're just adding a little bit of movement through in the pelvis. So using that core control, lift and squeeze as you breathe out. We're not rounding out the back too much, we're just using that pelvis to tilt through squeezing the core, lifting pelvic floor, tummy muscles pulling in. So it's your transverse abdominis working really hard here, so those deep internal muscles. That's a nice belt that runs from your tummy all the way round to your back and helps with your strong posture. And then we're going to move into some just slightly deeper exercises, so cat stretches coming soon. So arching that back and tucking those tummy muscles in towards your spine. Now, remember you've got your baby here, so every time you squeeze your tummy muscles in, you're giving your baby a nice cuddle. You're stretching across the back of the shoulders and you're arching your back up towards the ceiling, but trying not to move the shoulders forwards or back and trying not to sit back into the hips or forwards. They're staying in that nice stable position above the knees and the hands are staying below the shoulders. We're going to take one foot behind, just sliding it along the floor, squeezing the tummy muscles, breathing out as you extend the leg 4 times back and in. So squeeze the core as you extend, breathe in as you bring it back. When you've done 4, just swap over onto the other side, maintaining that stability in the spine. And if you're losing connection at all with those tummy muscles, take a break and stop what you're doing and find that little squeeze and connection through there again. When you've done your 4, you can take a break at any point, but we're going to add a little lift of the leg. So breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. Squeeze the core, maintain stability. We're going for 4 of these again, and then we'll swap on to the other side. So extending the leg on the outward breath, lifting, breathing in to come down. Squeeze the core, stabilize the body. Shoulders staying nice and low. And imagine you've got a tray of drinks on your back. It's going to keep that nice and straight through the spine. You can take the leg out to the side for the next 4. So out as you breathe out, in as you breathe in, keeping that leg off the floor if you can. This is about the stable parts of the body as well as the moving parts. When you've done your 4, switching onto the other side. So breathing out, extend to the side, breathing in, come back. So we're going to go for 4 of these. And then when you've done your 4, you can have a nice little rest in your child's pose stretch position. So taking your bottom back towards your heels, just resting your head down towards the floor. If bump is too big for this, just pop your hands on your fists and rest them up slightly higher. When you're ready, coming back into 4-point kneeling, and then we're going to go for Superman position. So right arm, left leg comes out, elbow to knee, and then extend. So breathing out to extend, breathing in to come back. 4 on each side. Breathing out, squeeze the core, hugging baby. Breathing in to return. maintaining stability throughout. When you have done your 4, we're going to then move on to a slightly more challenging exercise, taking the arm and the leg out to the side. Imagining there's a nice straight line from foot to hand. We're going to go for 4 of these, opposite arm, opposite leg. Everything else staying nice and still. 4 one side and then 4 on the other side. Squeezing core, breathing out to extend and go out to the sides. Shoulders staying low, hips staying nice and equal. When you're done again, nice child's pose stretch just to ease off any tension there. Take your time with this, pause the video if you need to. And if you want a few more of these exercises, you can pause and go back and just carry on going through again. We're coming into a side lying position now, so we're going for a modified side plank. So this is really going to work the core, work the shoulders, work the side of the body without putting any pressure on your tummy muscles. So we are really helping to strengthen without adding too much intra-abdominal pressure. So we're going to go for our modified side plank. Imagine you're drawing up your waist, breathing out to lift and breathing in to lower. I'm going to go for 4 of these, hands on hips if you need to. Knee in line with knee, foot in line with your bottom. Bottom is in line with your shoulders and shoulders are in line with your ears. So we're looking straight ahead, not down at our knees. When you've done your 4, you can add a little arm stretch. It's going to add a little extra challenge. So if that's too much, pop the arm back down, hand on hip. I'm going to go for 4 of these again. And then have a little rest if you need to. So at any point, take that time to have your rest. If you're okay with that, you can add 1 leg out longer. That's going to add lever length and extra challenge. Making sure you're still pulling up that rib and the shoulders and ears are nice and separate. We're going to go for 4 with hand on hip again. Remember that breathing pattern? It's breathing out to lift, squeezing core, breathing in, slowly lower. When you're ready, if you're ready, adding the arm out and adding that extra little lift. It's going to add more challenge, so if you need to, pop it back down a level or even bring your knees back together for that first option. At any point, if you're losing that connection in the core, stop what you're doing, take a break, really listen to your body. When you've had a little rest, we're going to swap over onto the other side. We're going to go for the same exercises on the second side. So knee in line with knee, feet in line with bottom, shoulders in line with ears. And as you breathe out, lifting away from the floor. So squeeze the core. Relax back down, squeezing the core as you lift, relaxing back down. When you've done your 4, if you can, add your little arm lift. Watching that your shoulders don't start creeping up towards the ear and watching that you're still pulling away from that waistline. So the rib cage really drawn in, still cuddling baby. Extending the leg if you want to. 4 lift and lowers. Breathing out to lift and breathing in to lower. Watch those shoulders haven't crept up. And when you have done your 4 of these, again, if you can, if you want to, adding that extra little challenge by lifting the arm off and up towards the ceiling. So think about what's going on with your core. Lifting your pelvic floor, squeezing those tummy muscles. By this stage, your shoulders might feel a little bit tight, so just give them a nice roll around. So think about rolling them up towards the ears, round and back down. We're going to slide those shoulder blades into little imaginary pockets so they're nice and low on your back and you've got space across your chest. Now here we're just creating a little bit of support so that we are propped up either using our arms, so elbows to support you. Think about pulling that waistline in again. We don't lie on our backs when we have a baby in our tummies, when we're past, hello Yaron, that's my son, and then we are going to, if you have one, use a cushion or a pillow to help prop you up. That can help support you. And we're going to go for some leg extension. So just foot slides across the floor. As you breathe out, you extend the foot, and as you breathe in, you bring it back in. Keeping the pelvis nice and neutral. And think about what's going on with the center of your body. So you're squeezing, you're lifting your pelvic floor, you're squeezing those tummy muscles in. Then we're going to swap on to the other side. So heel away and toes towards your body, just for a little extra stretch into the hamstrings, sliding that foot along the floor, keeping the support through the body so that we're not adding any extra strain onto those tummy muscles. If we're adding that little breathing pattern, you should be feeling this in the center of your body. So we're going to just work into our pelvic tilt, so maybe not much movement here, but again, if you're doing this correctly, you will feel this really strongly. Lift that pelvic floor up as you breathe out, pull those tummy muscles in. We're not using our bottom, we're not using the glutes. So if you really need to feel that connection, pop your hands in a diamond shape and pop thumbs to your tummy button and hands down into your pelvis, and you'll be able to feel that little squeeze as you breathe out. Your bottom, your glutes should be nice and loose as you make that little tilt. So they should be nice and wobbly. And just creating a nice little squeeze into that diamond shape area as you breathe out. So take your time with these. The top half of your body shouldn't really move too much, but if you've got a pillow or something with air in, you're going to get a little bit of movement up the top. But this is all coming from the core. We're not crunching or making a movement in the top half. When you're ready, adding a little toe tap, so lifting the knee to tabletop and back down. Squeeze the core as you lift. Again, your pelvis is nice and neutral. We're not tilting or shifting our weight. Our body isn't rotating from side to side. Just squeezing the core as you lift to support you. And then toe taps. Keeping that 90-degree angle in the knee. Just tapping down. Use that core. You should really feel that quite strongly as you tap that foot to the floor. Then we go for some more pelvic tilts just before we go on to the other side. Again, really not working into the glutes. Squeezing those tummy muscles. There's just a few varieties of where you can put your hands. You can either float them down in front of you or pop them behind your head if your neck's getting a little bit sore. So we're going to go for our other side, just getting that little toe tap to the floor. Squeeze the core as you extend and lift. Nice deep breaths. If you're losing that connection, pop the hands back down on your diamond shape in your tummy. And then when you're ready, we're going to go for those little toe taps. Use your breathing. Small little end range taps here. Squeeze the core, keep the pelvis nice and stable. So, if you have an extra little cushion, you can pop it between your knees here. So just above the knees, not on the knee joints. And we're going to squeeze the thighs together as you breathe out. Squeeze and release. So breathing out, squeeze the core, squeeze the thighs. Breathing in, release. You can add the hands. So breathing out to squeeze, breathing in to release. Just small little movements, visualizing your core as you squeeze the hands and the thighs together. Breathe out, squeeze, breathe in, release. Breathe out, squeeze, breathe in, release. More movement into the arms to spread across the chest, get that space into the chest. Pelvis is not moving around, we're keeping that nice and stable. Breathe in, release, and breathe out, squeeze the core. When you are done, just sitting up nice and tall, take the legs out in front of you and just curving through the spine. And again, as you breathe out, just roll through the spine. Seated cat stretch, just to ease off any tension. Give yourself a nice little stretch. Well done, guys.